Okay, so this is part 3. This is the final part because I have to go to work in like 30 some odd minutes. Now, let me first start off with an apology. Alright? Because I'm pretty sure that if you've gotten to the other 2, 3 videos, you will understand that some of the things I said was unkind. It wasn't polite. It was probably offensive. And as an honest man, and I try to give you guys 99.9, y'all know me, you've been here long enough to know that I will give you the truth, and I do not really apologize often. I try to soften the blow before I throw the punch, but sometimes you can't. And when it comes to racism and stuff like that, there's like almost no soft way to put it. No, there really is no soft way to put it. So let me explain the Asian thing, and then go deeper into this. So the Asian thing, I probably misspoke that. So let me get it from China to North Korea, South Korea, Vietnam, North and South, Laos, Tibet, Indonesia, Malaysia, Micronesia, Samoans, Polynesians. You're all Asian. Also in India, they do count all as Asians too. However, I've never had an issue with any of those people in my personal life outside of Zhang, who is Vietnamese, who has a Chinese last name. I don't know how that works, but there it is. Now, my other Asians are Native Americans, because Native Americans are biologically Asian. Again, I had to learn this from my Korean friend. How you doing, brother? And once that was pointed out, and I found out that we are not from Atlantis, um, yeah, my heart was a little broken there. But anyway, um, I've had issues with Native Americans, but only two individuals. So I do not hate all Native Americans for the actions of those two. Which is why when racism happens, it's generally because something happened to someone by someone else, and they just decided to blame everybody of that race for that one asshole's mistake or purposely given insult. I had more incidents with blacks versus whites. I can count on my hand how many racist incidences I've had with whites. I have to count on my hands and toes how many incidents I've had with blacks. But mostly because when you're growing up mixed and you're black, it's sometimes a crutch or an excuse for people to use against you in many forms. I don't date black women. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm not really attracted to black women. I am more attracted to Asian and white women and Latin women who are biologically Asian, because if you are Mexican, you are also biologically Asian because you are also Native American, which the government has twisted all that shit around. The scientists have spoken, and there are 3 human species: Nagraloid, Caucasoid, and Mongoloid. Let me break that down to you because I'm pretty sure I butchered saying them again. Nagraloid is the Negro people. That means like African and the Jamaican islands and stuff, which still would wind up being Africa. Same thing with Tobago and all that Bahamas stuff, because they were all descendants of slaves. They were taken from Africa. The only blacks who were not from Africa and were never from Africa and can only be tracked to New Zealand and Australia are Aborigines. Alright? You guys can go check that shit if you want. I don't care. You're going to prove me wrong if you can, and if you can't, then just accept what I said and be happy. Now, as far as Asians go, Asians are probably the most of the human species, and Asia was a very big place, conquered a lot of places, and they can prove that 1 in 1,000 men are kin to Genghis Khan, alright, who technically was Mongolian and not Chinese. Now, Kublai Khan was half Chinese and half Mongolian. Yes, they had a little stint over top of the China Empire, but we're not here to give you a history lesson. We're here to give you a race lesson. Now, Caucasians mean white. So Caucasoid, or Caucasians, mean white. So if Mongoloids means the Asians, the Mongoloids tend to have the more Asianist features, stuff like that, the eyes, the high cheekbones, etc. Native Americans fall into the Mongoloid class, which is why when you hear somebody say mongrel, there's 2 ways you can take that. Both of them are bad, because you can call them a mongoloid in a racial manner, or you can call them a mongrel as in the Mongolians, who were also called mongrels, and they had a circus thing and all that way back in the 80s where the riding mongrels, I think it was called, they would ride over it. Their advertisement was like not really good, but their advertisement was about how many people they conquered out west. and coming back and conquering of other countries and shit like that. Now, however, Native Americans are Asian biologically, but the United States government stripped all Native Americans of that shit. And a lot of them have been cast off as mulatto and barely even considered citizens before 1924 when they finally got the right to vote, because that helped some political clout there. Now, understand this, that evolution changes skin tone, which is another reason why, as far as my grandmothers and them was concerned, I did not know that they were not black. No, just didn't know. But, when you are growing up mixed, you don't see color in your family. You're not taught color in your family until you go to fuck the school. School can make you or break you, and it's no joke there. It can make you or break you. It can teach you things that you need to know, and it can teach you things you wish you never ever found out, and that you can't unlearn once you learn it. Alright, so somewhere between kindergarten and the 7th grade, I forgot that Native Americans crossed the Bering Strait when it was an ice bridge. Now, also, history in school does not teach us that America was first actually discovered by Chinamen. But, of course, you're going to have to learn that when you go to college, if you choose to go to college. I'm not here to be the college spokesperson. Now, for the video of the racist grandma who specifically said, "I don't care about you and your N-word," and she was talking to a child. I do not know how old the child is, but to send the other white lady into a hissy rage because she was talking about her daughter, she was well within her rights to kick the racist grandmother's ass as far as I'm concerned. And the whole reason why I'm making this video is because somebody came at me on Instagram calling me a jackass. And we since had words, and I apologize for giving my views, which I called him a racist and a keyboard warrior. And if anybody's on here from my Instagram page, welcome. Anyway, the thing was, that if you are not mixed, you will never know how it feels to have somebody in your family that is white be picked on by somebody else who is white because you're there. And witnessing that shit is not something that a kid should ever have to see. Which is why my point of having this lady prosecuted to the full extent of the law was no bullshit. Because one, no adult should ever come after a child. If that child does something to you, you should immediately go speak to the parent. Now, there are loopholes in that. If that parent refuses to acknowledge that child's misbehavior and that child continues to do something, you are well within your right to defend yourself. Just so that I don't sound like a hypocrite, that's a loophole. Because you can go tell the parent like 20 times. If that parent refuses to get off their ass and do something, then that child is no longer in the charge of that parent, and you have options. You can retaliate 2 ways. The best way is the legal way, by going to get child protective services. Like, I complained to the parent, the child's throwing rocks at me, the parent won't do anything. The parent won't take a belt to the kid's ass. I've been hit like 5 or 6 times by rocks and glass, and I complained and the parent don't do anything. So then you go to CPS. CPS will straighten that parent up really fucking quickly, because nothing makes a parent more alert than when someone's about to take their damn kid from them. No matter what race they are, no one wants to lose their child. So they will straighten their kid up after that. You can't go around throwing rocks at Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones is a nice man. Mr. Jones also called CPS on our ass, and if you don't get your ass in gear, you're going to be living with someone else. And you won't get to see us anymore. That shit's not a fucking lie, and it's not a fucking joke. If your kid is overreaching and doing things that they should not do, and they are mixed, believe you me, especially if your kid is black or Navy, CPS will come and remove your child almost instantaneously. If not the same day, within a week of that call, CPS will be up your ass. I promise you that. CPS will be up your ass. So don't do anything stupid. And if your kid is doing wrong, correct the little fucker. Now, this woman came after a child. This guy came after me for going after this woman and saying that she should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Now, for those who are not from Charlottesville, Virginia, when that Unite the Right shit happened, I was right here in this room. Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate really quickly. So don't call me a hypocrite. Alright, here we go. The week before that, the Klan came. The Klan rally was bad, but it wasn't that bad. The Unite the Right rally? Oh, that shit was way worse. way over the top. You got people coming from God only knows where with tiki torches, talking about the Jews will not replace us and all kinds of other shit. And I don't think the Jews even had anything to do with this damn thing. And next damn thing you know, some poor bastard came from Tennessee and decided he wanted to be a martyr for the cause and killed an innocent white woman and plowed through a bunch of black people, killing the innocent white woman to prove that he was somebody for his racist ass cause. So, after that, because that happened, there was a lot of bad shit, and I'm sorry if you're a Trump supporter, and I'm going to say it. He's not a saint. He does not like black people, and he damn sure don't like Native Americans. So if you are black and you voted for Trump, or if you're Native and you voted for Trump, hey, you want to check your mirror. Maybe you want to ask the Central Park Five that he wanted them to hang. I know off topic, but racism is racism. And I'm not saying that there are all black innocent people. I'm not saying that there are all innocent white people. I'm not saying there are all innocent Asian people. If you watch the other two videos, I specifically said that racism comes in all colors. There's just as many Asians, blacks, and white that are racist as there are who are not. As for us mixed people, we don't have the right to be racist because we can walk in all three of your worlds and understand where you're coming from. But you have to understand how you present yourself is the difference maker. If you want to be a racist and you're an honest racist, okay. I honestly don't have a problem with that. I also know that you're not coming to dinner at my house, and I'm not coming to dinner at your house. And we can work together on the job and have working respect. And as long as you don't come out of the way with, hey, half-breed, or hey, chief, or some shit like that, you'll have all your teeth. I will not kick them down your throat. I can work with you. I can be polite because I know when we clock out, you're going to go your way, I'm going to go my way, and as long as neither one of us have cross words, then we will never have to cross fist. Or you won't be getting up off the floor for calling me something that you probably shouldn't have called, because generally it's a racist person that starts a racist thing with a racial slur. I understand that. Most non-racists don't go around calling people racist names. Alright? And there is a small difference between being racist and being prejudiced. Alright? For instance, I love women, but I am prejudiced against transsexual women. I'm not a homophobic person. I understand their life, but I have the right to know the truth on who I am kissing. If I have gone too far with that, I apologize, but this is just how I feel. As far as me bringing harm to trans women and trans men, no. I ain't about that shit. That's not my life. You are who you are. But I have the right to be told the truth before our lips touch. Alright? I'm not into transsexual women. Alright? So please forgive me for that. I am not judging you because you're going to live your truth, and I respect that shit. But respect my ability to actually want to marry a woman who is not trans. Alright? I'm not saying that they're not women. I'm just saying that they are trans, and I have the right to know who I am kissing. Please don't blow that up and take that the wrong way. Just the truth is the truth. I don't have a problem admitting my racist or my prejudice or my bias on that, because that's just how I feel. Now, other people may not have a problem with that, and I get it. They don't have a problem. And I'm not saying that I can't be friends with transsexual women. I can. I just don't expect anything more than that, And it's okay. I don't hate them. I just don't want to date them. That's just it, You're still a human. You're still alive, and I'm okay with that. Just understand that we couldn't be anything more than friends. So don't come after me trying to date me and all that, because it's just not what I do. You might be a great person, but at the same time, it's just not something that I'm into. Now, that can be a video in itself, a whole nother video, and if you guys want that, we can talk about that. But it won't be like a downplay and hatred towards them, because I've tried to save some of them when YouTube took my video down about the transgender women getting murdered in New Jersey and New York and in Puerto Rico, and YouTube was like, nah, fuck that, we're not letting that play. So there you go. So it's not that I don't like them, it's just that I don't want to date them, and you have to respect me for that because I'm an honest man. Now, that being said, back on the racist topic, this guy that had words with me might not have understood the fact that this woman was yelling at a child. Me being a victim of racism all my life, didn't understand that he might not have understood what was going on. He might have just been a white guy that was oblivious and just didn't watch the whole video all the way through, with this woman calling everybody under the sun a bitch, and then also saying, I don't care about you and your N-word to that child. which is why I went the hell off and I was like, no, this is unacceptable. She needs to be punished to the full extent of the law, because not for the N-word. Don't get it twisted. You have freedom of speech. Me and 10,000 other men and women have put these things on for you to have that right to say whatever the fuck you want. But we didn't put these things on. We didn't strap up our boots, throw on our camo for you to come after a child with that shit. Yeah, and like I said, if you have something to say to a person about their child, you go to the parent. You don't go at the child. You do not come at the child in a public restaurant, start calling them the N-word and all kinds of other shit, and don't think that someone's going to rearrange your goddamn dental work. Because they are. They are going to rearrange your shit. And you would deserve it. I hope this video is making sense to most of you, as we are hitting a milestone, because it is 1:53 and I have to get ready to go to work. Now, the thing is, alright, when it comes down to racism, as I've said this in a lot of racist videos that I make, because I am mixed with Cherokee, black, and white, I do not have the right to be a racist. But I have every right to come down on every race in each one of those groups that is a racist. If you're a Cherokee and you're a racist, I'm coming after you. Let me rephrase that. If you're a Native American or Asian and a racist, I am coming after you for being a racist. I am also part white, so if you are white and you are a racist, I'm coming after you. If you are black and you are a racist, I'm coming after you. I'm coming after you because you are a racist. I don't have the right to be a racist, but goddammit, I will hunt down every racist that I can find. So when you hear me bitching about Trump, well, I have proof that he's a fucking racist. Right? And not just from Amarosa. Central Park 5. He wanted them dead. They were 15 years old. They were accused of raping a white lady. I get it, but DNA proved them to be innocent. Not a word from our president, because he was the president at the time of them making the documentary of him not ever even apologizing. Now let's get real. The Code Talkers, when he literally on live TV called Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas on live fucking TV, and sadly, my grandmother on my mother's side, who's still alive, her nickname is actually Pocahontas. All right, because she's part Native American, her nickname has always been Pocahontas since the day I've been born. Her name has always been Pocahontas. All right, and that's because a lot of us don't know Pocahontas' actual name. You have to do your research. I still can't pronounce her actual name. But I'm pretty sure Pocahontas was a hell of a lot easier to say than Sacagawea. So therefore, Grandma Pocahontas, there you go. Now, as I was saying, Pocahontas, he talked to the Wind Talkers, he called her Pocahontas. He had been calling her Pocahontas at all those staff meetings. And you guys that watch CNN and Fox and NBC and ABC and all these other news channels that are downing Trump, you have your proof right there. But the shit that solidified it for me was when he started talking about the coronavirus and started calling it the Kung Flu virus, the Chinese virus. And I have a lot of Asian friends that are Chinese and Japanese and Vietnamese and Korean and Filipino, and I love them all. And I don't want anything to happen to them because some racist black person or some racist white person is going to say, oh, this guy's Asian, he's Chinese, he may have the Chinese virus. So now I have my three bros that know Kung Fu, they're going to fuck you up. Just letting you know that if you go after my three bros who know Kung Fu who are Chinese, they are going to fuck you up. My Korean bro who also knows Kung Fu, who also taught me about my Native American culture, they are going to fuck you up. So I'm not worried about them. And the two Vietnamese girls that were in my movie who know Kung Fu, they are going to fuck you up. It's the ones that don't know Kung Fu that I'm worried about. They might get fucked up by some racist bastard because they're Asian. Alright? And I come after everybody that's racist. And I'm sure someone's going to come after me for being racist against racists. And that's cool. But the fact of the matter is, if you're a racist, I'm hunting you down. I'm not going to put your shit up on blast like I just did with the racist grandma. But that was due to the fact that somebody came after me for saying that this woman should be prosecuted by the law because it was unacceptable for her to come after a child and call the child the N-word. Which that person was clearly riding with his blinders on. And that was that. Now back on the Trump thing. When he caught that Chinese reporter and told her to go ask China, I was done with Trump after that. Before he got into all this political shit, Trump wasn't outed racist. No. You might have had like your own feelings towards him or whatever, but he wasn't an outed racist. And he pretty much outed himself with, why don't you ask China? And then fucking when it came down to other shit, you're like, sorry, Days of Our Lives is on. I don't know what the hell's going on. But you know, when it comes down to other shit like that, you know, a lot of people are like, no, 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 he's not racist. No, you're not racist. Well, let me explain this to the people who voted for Trump, who are of black ethnicity or Asian ethnicity. If you're white, I kind of understand, especially if you're like poor white to match the equivalent of black people. But if you're like rich white, I understand that that was really about your wallet, unless you are secretly a racist, and then that's on you, and I can't judge you for that. But if you're poor white and I know it was about your wallet, and you just didn't understand what the hell was going on because you were believing the promises, okay, cool. But if you are indigenous and you were voting for Trump, shame on you. Shame on you. And if you were black and you were voting for Trump, shame on you. And I'm not shaming you because of why you voted. But that person that you voted for is honestly truly the guy, not for you. Yeah, he might help your wallet out, but in the end, if he's going around saying racist things about other races that don't hit you directly in the face, how long do you think it's going to be before he decides to turn his racism on you? Like for the Chinese virus thing. How long do you think it's going to be? And then you have to understand that his rhetoric has caused a lot of violence towards Asian people. Now, I'm not saying there wasn't violence towards Asians and blacks and stuff before, because there have been collisions with Asians and blacks in stores and shit. You know, I've never been personally thrown out of an Asian person's store. And before the first person comes on here and puts in a comment, it's because you look like them, James. I've already been told that. But I've never been thrown out of an Asian store. I have been given strange looks by Asians before in their stores. Like, okay, yeah, this guy might be one of us. He might not be. A lot of people have never seen a mixed guy before. A lot of Asians that aren't from America have not really seen a lot of mixed people before, and they don't have a stone cold knowledge of mixed people. You know, unless it's like right in their face, they just don't know. And not knowing is not an excuse to be racist, but it is a learning experience. And I will have to make a part 4 when I come home from work, because it is 2 o'clock, or at least it will be when this alarm goes off. And so I want to like close out so that I can go to work. I'm going to post this before I go out the door. And then after I get home from work, I'm going to do part 4. So thank you guys for watching. And this is Kung Fu Epic number 2. Be seeing you.